This is FSPN, the most trusted name in fake news. My name is Frankie from Flatbush. We're going to talk about the Jets. We're going to talk about the media. If you don't like us talking about the media, please leave. Goodbye. See ya. Some people are right in there like, Frankie, I don't like that you talk about the media. Well, that's part of what we do here, so it's all kind of part and parcel. You get some Jet stuff, you get some media stuff, you get some comedy, you get a few laughs, you get some information. It's all part of the Frankie from Flatbush show for Monday. It is high, it is far, it is Monday, December the 22nd, 2025. We got some news. First of all, we got a docket right there. Frankie Show docket. Okay, Media Watch, AG Monday presser. So we had the Monday press conference via Zoom. They don't even have to go to the facility on Mondays. They're in their pajamas, the beat reporters are, and they ask their questions via Zoom. Well, what we learned, Brady Cook will be the starting quarterback on Sunday. I got to say, they're making him the sacrificial lamb, the tank commander, you know. Unfortunately. Now, hopefully for Brady, these reps don't mess up his mentals too much. It's really funny. You would think that of all the problems of a rookie quarterback could have, you would think if you get one with over 1,200 pass attempts in college in the SEC as a starting quarterback, 3 years worth of reps, 30 plus games. Brady Cook was very, very experienced in the SEC, and you would think that the least of his problems would be pocket presence. Nope. Boy, oh boy. Ugh. Which just goes to show you, even the SEC is such a big leap to the NFL. You just never know with these dudes. Now, you didn't expect him to do well. I told you he really needed to redshirt this year. I told you that from the beginning. We really don't want to see Brady Cook, and now you're seeing why. He's not going to be ready. He's just not good enough right now. But, he could develop into sort of a backup. But Sunday against the Saints was no bueno. The stats didn't really tell the story. You had to see it for yourself with your scouting eyes, like old Frankie has. And, man. But now he's a sacrificial lamb. They could have gone with Tyrod. Tyrod seems like he's healthy now if they really wanted to try and win these games. But it seems like, indeed, Brady Cook is the tank commander. And at the same time, he'll get reps. I mean, you could justify it to say, listen, what good does it do to see Tyrod Taylor running around out there? Tyrod's not going to be on the team next year. Probably Justin Fields is not going to be on the team next year. Though I would not release him. I would really try to trade him. I mean, even when you're talking about trading up for a pick, if we have to throw in a Justin Fields to a team and say, hey, well, you can have Justin Fields as a backup option to whatever option they got going on, like the Raiders or the Browns, or they might want Justin Fields, as a backup if they're bridging it anyway. Might be somewhat valuable to somebody as part of a package. You release him, you just get a little bit of cap relief, which we don't really need. So, but Tyrod will be gone. Justin will be probably gone one way or another. But Brady will be here. So the case could be made, well, let him get some games under his belt. Let him get some reps. There have been some quarterbacks who looked very bad at the start of their tenure and then at least developed to the point where they could be a backup. I'm thinking about Spencer Rattler. Looked a lot better toward the end of his little run there. He wasn't winning any games, but he looked awful at the start. He looked like he shouldn't be in the NFL his first few games there, but by the end, he still wasn't good. But you could see, okay, he should be on a roster, and maybe Brady Cook can be the same. So the case could be made. Listen, get him reps because he might be quarterback 3 next year, and you might need him at some point. So. Any way you look at it, tank commander, good for next year, whatever it is. Hopefully he can play better against the Bills, but, it's like, good luck. Here's the Bills now, and then, or no, we're playing the Patriots first. So Patriots, who are, high flying high, though they've had probably the easiest schedule in the history of the NFL, but still flying high with the quarterback, Drake May, and all these people. And then next, the last game, will go up against the Bills. Oh, boy. So we'll see. But I also found it interesting. Nobody asked Aaron Glenn about the Saints running up the score and throwing bombs down the field when they really didn't need to, and they needed to run out the clock. And they really could have couched the question very nicely. They could have said, the Saints were trying to get Taysom Hill some personal record there at the end. Do you think that that's sort of a violation of the sportsmanship code? That would have been an interesting question to ask, because it would be easy for Aaron Glenn to answer it. He would say, no, we've got to stop them. It's our job to stop them. You know what he's going to say. But it's an interesting question to ask to get dialogue going about it. Me personally, I felt like after the game that warranted a brawl. But then again, I'm a crazy man. I understand that. And other people felt differently about it, especially after it was learned that, hey, they were trying to get Taysom Hill this record, whatever it was. And Taysom Hill, by the way, not even eligible for the Hall of Fame. He's not even eligible for the Hall of Fame. He's just a jag who played roles. Like, people make this guy out to be some sort of god or something. He never made a Pro Bowl. He never made an All-Pro. He's not eligible for the Hall of Fame. You have to have one postseason award, at least, to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. This guy has such a mystique about him. Oh, he can occasionally throw a pass. Look at him run occasionally. Look at this. What has he done? The guy's just a jag anyways. But anyway, it would have been an interesting question, but of course they don't, because I don't know why. That's my suggestion to the beat. Get better questions. But then what they did ask, I believe it was Cannizzaro with the ramp-up trap. We call it the ramp-up trap, and he uses the fans as a crutch, so that's a twofer. What he does is, the ramp-up trap is when the question has a huge ramp-up, they're setting you up for a trap. That should be the warning sign. And then, but another trick they use is they say, and the fans are, they throw us under the bus. Because nobody holds the media accountable. So they can just say, they can use the ramp up, and then they can say, and the fans, what would you say to the fans? The fans are worried. The fans are concerned about all these losing all these games. What would you say to the fans? Now, if you think Mark Cannizzaro gives a shit about you and me as a fan, I got a bridge to sell you. None of these assholes cares about a fucking fan. Except for getting your clicks and getting your likes and getting your views on YouTube, they don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about themselves. And they use us as a crutch to make it seem like they're not asking the question. They're asking on behalf of the fan, you see. It's a noble question. But it really isn't. And what the trap was, and in this case, unfortunately, Aaron Glenn fell right into the trap. He said, don't worry, don't let go of the rope. We have a plan and all this kind of thing. And, of course, the pre-written headline was, coach of 3-12 team says, we got a plan. That was, we have plans, says 3-10 coach, 3-12 coach of Jets team, that sort of thing. And he fell right into it. We have a plan. So I would just like to put this out as a public service announcement to the Jets. Have Glenn make fun of the ramp-up question. The way you diffuse these tactics is you recognize them and then make fun of them. So just like Mike McDaniels does with the Dolphin reporters, he has a thing about the twofer questions. These reporters, that's another trick they use, is the twofers. So early on in his tenure, he said, look, I'll answer any one question you have, but can we not do the twofers? You guys like twofers? He made a joke about it. And every time somebody would ask a twofer, then McDaniel would go, wait a minute, are you trying to ask me a twofer? Is this a twofer? Are you secretly trying to get in a twofer? And they would have a laugh. And then from then on, the reporters basically didn't do any twofers. So you diffuse the tactics by recognizing them and then making fun of them and joking about them. Not getting angry and upset and prickly. That's not the way. You recognize it, call it out, and then make a joke about it. That's how you diffuse it. And what they could do with this is like, is this a ramp-up question, Cannizzaro? Are you asking me a ramp-up? I'm feeling a ramp-up trap here, Cannizzaro. Is this what's going on? Can you ask the question in a more simpler way? Something like that, right? Public service announcement to the